Can you guys hear me now?
Nope.
I think you should hear me now.
We can hear you.
Okay, then let's do it.
I think you should.
Okay, all good. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining Big Bang Data Science Solution, the 10-week free program. My sincere apologies for this the delay, which was caused because of the technical issues. This is the first time we are going live through YouTube, so we again our sincere apologies. So the first thing we gotta do here is going through the agenda or the curriculum of what we are gonna cover through this 10-week program. So in session number 1 or week number 1 of the program is simply an introduction to data science, data analytics, machine learning, deep learning, etc. Trying to give you guys, try to bring everybody to the same page. I know that most of you don't have any clue about data science and this technology around it. Some of you might already have, maybe already have some experience or knowledge about the field. So since we have different backgrounds, different expertise, and different knowledge based on the survey sent to you, we decided to reserve the first week to simply bring everybody to the same page, and the second week it is going to be a crash course on Tableau, on Python, and we'll be using the Jupyter notebook. So in week number 2, we'll talk about Jupyter notebook. This is the tool that we'll be using throughout the program. Of course, we are going to have a crash course to go over some of the things that you should know as data scientist, and then we'll talk about the most common libraries that we'll be using throughout the program. We'll talk about the NumPy, the Pandas, the Matplotlib, the Seaborn, the scikit-learn, and NLTK. Of course, there are other libraries that we are going to learn through this 10-week program. In week number 3, then we are going to dive deep into the natural language processing, NLP. We'll talk about the history of NLP. Then we'll talk about the basic NLP processes. Now, how we can transform a text into a tabular format, how to pre-process and fix, manipulate, deal with the quality of the data. Then in week number 4, we are going to move into more advanced techniques. Then we'll learn about feature extraction methods. Then in week number 5, then we are going to develop an algorithm to classify features, to classify text. That is called text classifier. Then in week number 6, we'll be collecting text data using web scraping and APIs. And in week number 7, we will move into more advanced modeling with topic modeling. Then in week number 8, vector representation. Then in week number 9, we will talk about text summarization using, of course, machine learning. And in week number 10, we will talk about sentiment analysis. And we try to cover as much information as we can. We might end up having week number 11 and week number 12. So the minimum is 10 weeks, the maximum is 12 weeks. And hopefully this program is designed to train you on every aspect of NLP. So after this program, I expect you guys to know how to handle any text data or any unstructured data, and transform it into an insight, transform it into a meaningful information that you could use to better make a better decision. Okay, so that is the agenda, and it's a lot of information to digest, a lot of information to learn. Some of you guys might already know this. Some of you guys probably joined the program with zero knowledge. That is totally fine. We'll try to build the skills needed and the expertise needed and the knowledge needed to be successful in conducting the text analytics. Okay, so that is the agenda. So if you have any question, any concern, please go ahead and ask your questions in the chat. We'll be more than happy to address them later. So I know most of you guys have registered, and yeah, most of you guys have registered. I'm just trying to yeah. So for those who registered, we sent you an invite to join the Canvas. So you should get an email from the Canvas. And so far, over 500 participants have registered for the program. But many of you guys, I mean, more than 280 have not accepted the invite yet. So I'm going to resend. So please check your your email. You might need to check the junk mail. Most likely, if you have a higher spam filter, sometimes they filter out the emails from the Canvas as a spam. So you might need to check your spam folder. If you don't get it, if you don't get an invite, please reach out to me in person or to the business. Then we will be more than happy to troubleshoot the issue. So if you don't get an invite, you are either the invite went to a different folder or you provided a wrong, an incorrect email. So for those who have access to the Canvas, of course, I want you to click on modules. This is where you are going to see the training materials, you are going to see the recording sessions, and of course you are going to see yeah, please hold on. I need to do something very quick. So yes, you are going to see the recording and you are going to see training materials. So now we are in week number 1. You should, if you click on week number 1, of course you are going to see all the training materials available. So simply some documents. This is where we are going to share the codes we'll be designing. So of course you are going to need a laptop, you are going to need a Jupyter notebook installed, Anaconda installed in your system. So you will be able to follow up with us live. So again, if you have access, if you don't have access to the Canvas, double check your email, especially the junk mail, and also double check your email address. You might have given us, or you might have registered with a wrong email address. So for those who have access to the Canvas, this is what I want you to do. Simply, I want you. This is what you should see as a student. In the right hand, everything that you see here is circled out. It's grayed out, means you have not checked it out. It's not been checked yet. So what you need to do is go through these tabs one at a time. Just read and go through this information and click next. Then go through the information again and click next. And simply keep clicking on next until you get into week number 1. So this is a sequential program. It simply means that you cannot see week number 2 unless you complete successfully week number 1, and you cannot see week number 3 unless you complete 1 and 2. So some of you guys already been doing this, introducing yourself. Simply say something about yourself. It's good to know who you are and why you are joining the program and how we can help you to simply get the knowledge you are looking for. So if I click back on modules, you are going to see all the tabs being checked for me green. Now they are green, and now I have access to week number 1. So of course you need to introduce yourself. In the week number 1 is not popped up for me yet because I have not introduced myself. So I'm going to try to introduce myself. I'm going to simply say this is Mohamed Wani, your NLP instructor. That's it, and I'm going to do post. And now if I go to modules, I should see week number 1 popped up. So here we go. And of course, after week number 1, you are going to see the recording, the training materials, etc. But this is what you should see as a student. As an admin, I see everything. I see week number 1, week number 2, week number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way to 10. And you should have access to all of these modules. And every module you are going to have access to the training materials, to the codes, and also to the recording, just in case you didn't have a chance to make it live. Okay, so let me introduce. The topic that I want to talk about today is why you need to learn data science. So simply an introduction to why do we need to spend time and learning data science, including NLP. So this is the company. It's called Big Bang Data Science Solutions. We are located in Atlanta, Georgia. We've been in the business since 2016. We have trained so far over 4,600 participants across the globe, and most of them, honestly, they ended up landing a beautiful job with big companies. So we have some high quality training. We do train in data science end to end, and our programs, they are designed for someone who knows close to nothing in data science and machine learning and NLP in general. So if you are not an experienced, if you don't have a background in IT, a background in math, background in statistics, background in programming, we can definitely work together to make you a superhero data scientist. That is our job. So today we'll talk about an introduction to data science. Of course, we'll be talking about introduction to machine learning. And if we have time, we'll talk about the deep learning and some machine learning practice. So this is me. My name is Mohamed Midwani. I'm originally from Morocco, but US is my home now. I am doing my PhD in artificial intelligence. I am the adjunct faculty teaching data science at one university in Atlanta, Georgia. I have 4 masters. I have a master in machine learning, masters in data science, then a master in IT, and a 4th master in MBA, Masters of Business Administrations. And I have over 22 years of experience in IT, especially in the management side and the liaison side between the business and IT. It's called service delivery management. I've been in data science almost 10 years now, and I am the founder of Big Bang Data Science Solution. So that is us, and of course we have Big Bang Data Science Solution now is a team. So we have 4 people working in the business. So the question that probably you might ask, and many of you, especially those who are trying to switch the gear and learn data science from scratch. For those who already been in the field, please bear with us. As I said at the beginning of the talk, we're trying to bring everybody to the same page. We want to make sure that we are all on the same page so we can start learning NLP. So to bring everybody to the same page, we decided to have a talk on what is data science and why should I become data scientist. So why do you need to learn data science? What is the deal about this data science? So there are 16 that you need to bear in mind that could motivate you to invest money-wise, time-wise, effort-wise to become a data scientist. So number one, data science is the fuel of the 21st century. So that is data science. And if you don't have the skills and the expertise to refine this fuel, you are not going to use it. So it's a fuel, means it's how the economy is going to be governed, how the economy is going to be controlled by. Data science is going to be the mainstream of all for the economy. And unfortunately, if you don't have the skill set, the data scientist skill set or analytic skill set, or if a business does not have the analytical team already established, I promise you, sooner or later, they are going to be out of the business, because now they wouldn't beat their competitors. Competitors now, they are moving into data-driven decision making. It means all their decisions, they are based on what the data is telling them. As such, if we need to have some experienced folks who can get this data, analyze it, give us some insight that we can use to make a better decision. So data science is the fuel of the 21st century, and data science now is in high demand. Now companies, they are switching, as I said, they are switching from experienced decision making. They're making a decision based on their previous experience. They are switching from this methodology into what we call data-driven decision making. So they make decisions based on the data, not based on your experience. So as such, we have a lot of data, but we don't have enough experienced people who can use this data and get us some insight that we are looking for. So data science is a lucrative career. Whatever you spend, whatever you invest in your education and your learning data science, you should get it back within few months. So if you spend, for example, $1,000 and $100,000 in getting the education you needed, getting the training you needed, you should get that money back within a year or less. So it's a lucrative career. So again, data science also would make a better life, a better world. Imagine that you are working for an airlines as data scientist, and you are dealing with a lot of sensor data, and you're struggling with your data. You dive deep into that data, and you discover by chance or by practice the probability of an engine to crash. So that's how you would make the entire scenario beautiful, by simply saving lives, saving an engine from crashing through analyzing the sensor data. This is simply one example of how you would make our lives better. So in the past, I worked on many data science for good projects, trying to voluntarily answer the society needs, society problems, or fixing society problems, community problems through data science. And we did, as a team, we did an amazing job dealing with the homelessness, drug dealing, stuff, and etc. This is some examples of the project that I worked for the community. And data science is the career of tomorrow. So if I were to hire you today, I'm going to look into two things in your resume. I'm going to look into the level of experience that you have. Of course, if you have 10 years of experience in data science, you are better than someone. Technically, you are better than someone who has 5 years, and of course better than someone who just graduated from college. And yes, I'm going to look into the level of experience that you have in your resume. Number two, I am going to look into the level of education that you have in your resume. So if you have a PhD in data science, you are better than a master's. Technically, you are better than a master's. Technically, you are better than a bachelor's, than associate, than a high school. But tomorrow, which is the future, if you want to secure your spot in the job market on the top of the experience and the education level, there is one critical component that somehow, somewhere, you need to start working on it, and that is the analytical mindset. So tomorrow, if you were to secure your spot in the market, you need to have experience, you need to have a degree, and you need to have some type of analytical skills. Otherwise, it is going to be so hard to secure your spot. And of course, as of now, probably the highest paid IT career is the data science or data analytics. So the minimum, as far as I know, the minimum in US, the minimum you could get paid salary, hourly rate is probably between $80 and $100 per hour. I don't know about the rest of the world, but in US, that is the rate, unless someone is robbing you, someone is using you, someone is trying to rehire you through a different system, making money on you. So these are 6 elements, 6 things that would motivate you to really think about investing in learning data science. Otherwise, just be prepared to be a victim of data science, prepared to struggle getting a job in the future. I was a victim of what we called data science back in 2014. I lost my job because of I did not have skills to complete a project, an analytical project at the time. Because I did not have the analytical skill set. So I struggled for 3 months, and at the end of the day, I was fired. And I learned hard from it, and it was a motivation that pushed me into data science, because I really don't want to repeat the process over and over, and I don't want to hear the music over and over. So since I started this training in the business, I have so many people ask me questions about is data science for me. I am 50, 52, 53 years old. I don't have any background. I never used the computer. I'm not good in math. I don't know statistics. I am not a good programmer. And the question is data science for me? Of course, that is a valid question. I totally understand the concern, but I was there before. Before I changed the gear into data science, I was not a solid programmer. I hate math. I hate statistics. I was there. But when I lost my job, I find out I was forced to learn these techniques, and you should be able to learn them. If I was able to do it, everybody in the room should be able to do it. So the answer is data science for me, according to Kathy O'Neill. She says, if you are the type of a person who loves to solve puzzles and find patterns, that data science is for you. So data science is for you regardless of your age, regardless of your background, regardless of your experience and knowledge. To be a superhero data scientist, you need 3 criterion or 3 qualities. Number 1, you need to have some patience. You need to have dedication, patience, and passions or love for data. These 3 qualities, I promise you, if you have them, use them, utilize them correctly, I promise you are going to become a data scientist. I don't care about your age or your background. Don't cry over your age. Don't cry over your background. That is type of negative thinking. Just flash them and put effort, and you are going to see an amazing change within a couple of months. So, but before we dive into what is actually data science, let's go step back a little bit and let's talk about data. So, data is the fuel of data science. Data science, there wouldn't be anything called data science if we don't have this mass production of data. So these are some facts, but these facts they are already old, and this is what we consume, what we make as a data science, as a human. So far, and this is 3 years old, back in 2019, YouTube produces 600 plus videos every single minute. If you do the math, that is the number of videos produced in YouTube in one day back in 2019. I'm expecting at least to be 6,000 by now. And back 3 years ago, 200 million emails sent every single minute. Multiplied by 60 to get 1 hour, multiplied by 24 to get a day. That is the amount of data being generated. And I know for sure you guys, before you joined this lecture, I know many of you guys chatted, or called or sent an email. So you generated some data. All of us have generated some data today. And the problem is, do we have skills? Do we have skills needed to get that data, analyze it, dive deep into it, investigate it, and try to find patterns, trying to find meaningful information that we can utilize to make better decisions for our businesses. So in the past, we were the consumer of this data because there are only few entities that produce the data, but nowadays it's the vice versa. We are the producer and we are the consumer at the same time. But we consume the data without understanding the data. We simply utilize the data. We need some type of scientific method that can be utilized on this data to extract meaningful information, extract some patterns, some insight that we can use to better understand a behavior, understand the phenomenon, and act correctly according to it. So again, the data is the fuel, is the oil of the future. If you have oil and you don't have skills to refine it and to process it, of course, it's going to be useless. So what is data science? What is data science? That is the question that most of my students ask, but I know most of you guys already know about this. So there is no single definition as far as I know about data science. If you ask many data scientists, of course they are going to give you what they think is data science. It could be a right definition, it could be a wrong definition, but there is no agreed upon definition yet. Now, data science is not a mature discipline yet. If you were to compare two master degrees in data science from two universities within the same city, you are going to find that these two programs are totally different. Why they are different? Because the folks behind them, they simply designed them based on what they believe is data science. But if you were to compare, for example, two MBAs programs within two universities in two different continents, like in South Africa and the US, you are going to see that these two programs, even though they are too far from one another distance-wise, they have a lot of in common, because MBA is a matured discipline. Data science is not a mature discipline yet. But nevertheless, data science is simply the ability to take a data that we generate, that we produce on the daily. So you guys, those who are those who are chatting, so please respect the chat, otherwise you'll be kicked out. Okay, so please respect the chat, otherwise you'll be kicked out. Anyway, data science is the ability to take data, be able to understand it and process it, extract some meaningful values, and of course communicate the finding with the stakeholders and the management. That is a data science. It's very simple. In theory, it's very simple. It's the ability to take a data, be able to understand it, process it, extract the value, visualize it, and communicate the finding with the management and stakeholders. You could be one of the best data scientists, data analysts on the face of the planet, but if you don't know how to communicate your finding with stakeholders and decision makers, management, of course your work is useless. So data science is not a discipline on itself. It's a multidisciplinary field where you need to learn a lot of things. You need to learn statistics, you need to learn artificial intelligence, neural computing, machine learning, database, visualization, and you need to be able to communicate. Communication is a critical component and a critical ingredient of the data science components. So data science is simply a method of torturing your data until this data confesses to something. So that is data science. Is you got data, you need to keep torturing this data until it confesses to something meaningful, something that you could share with the management and stakeholders to help them make a better decisions. So data science is taking a data, and data, unfortunately, might not be the data that you are familiar with in a tabular format, structure format where you have rows and columns. That is an easy to use data, but 90% of the data being generated across the globe is unstructured data in the format of text, images, videos, etc. This type of data is so hard to pre-process and analyze. So you need to transform it from the unstructured type into structured type to be able to utilize any of the matured statistical analysis, descriptive analytics, and data viz techniques. So you get the data, we analyze it, and of course you find insight, you get some insight. You need to communicate those insights with the stakeholders or decision makers to make a decision. So again, data science is not a solution to a business problems. Data science help you understand different options and help you with the right information to make the right decision to fix your business problem. So data science is not going to fix your problem. It will simply provide you with the right information to fix that problem through analyzing, torturing the data to the certain level. So why data science? Of course, this is some of the facts that might be old. So in LinkedIn, they find out that they did a lot of analytics on their data. They find out that data science, data mining, analytics in general drives the attentions of the recruiters from 2014 all the way to 2021. And this is going to be the same for the at least next 5-6 years. So next 5-6 years, everybody with the title of data science will be will be in the radar of the recruiters. And this is only one social professional social media that deals with it, and there's a lot of websites. They have the same forecasting. Glassdoor, they ranked the data science the first job to pursue from 2016 all the way to 2021, and it is going to be the same for the following years. At least for the next 5 to 6 years, data science is going to be the top job to pursue. And the Harvard Business, they come up with a report back in probably in 2013, and this is how everybody across the globe then tried or puts effort, tried to invest to learn data science. They forecasted that data science is the sexiest career of the 21st century. And I really experienced that myself. When I used to work for big companies, I got a lot of stress of failing in doing something, stress in doing something wrong, stress in dealing with the management, stress in handling my daily routines, and stress of losing a job. So since I switched the gear, I become data scientist. Data science up to now is the best, or the most, or the less stressful career you can imagine. It's all it's all fun with data, all fun with torturing data, getting insight, communicating the insight with the management, playing around data, discovering something that you wouldn't be able to discover if you were to scan through your data. That is how beautiful data science is. It's less stressful, and that's they are right when they said it's the sexiest. Yes, it is the sexiest. So there are 4 types of analytics. Just data science. Within data science, there are many types of analytics, and of course there are some fields like machine learning, and within machine learning there is deep learning, and within machine learning there is NLP, natural language processing, which is going to be the topic of this 10-week program. So there are 4 types of analytics. Descriptive analytics is a type of analytics that you as a data scientist or data analyst trying to answer questions in the format of what happened. If you're trying to answer what happened, type of questions like what happened in the past, when it happened, where it happened, that is descriptive analytics. It's trying to understand the past of an event. So if you are working, for example, of a retail store or telecommunication company, and this telecommunication company, they lost many clients to their competitors, so they brought you in as data scientist, and your job is, or data analyst is, your job is to determine what happened. The second level of analytics is diagnostic analytics, is answering the question why it happened. So in the first type of analytics, understanding why it happened, why it happened. So we know we lost some clients to our competitors. So the second level of analytics is trying to find the root cause of the problem, why we lost clients to our competitors. And the third type of analytics is predictive, and this is the one we need, and this is the most needed type of analytics. Most of the companies, they are using descriptive analytics and diagnostic analytics, using some data and using experience. And for predictive analytics, now we are going to be relying heavily on the data. And predictive analytics is simply trying to answer the question in the format of what is the probability, what is the likelihood that a client will churn, what is the probability that we will be losing a client to our competitors. And this is a very simple problem that most of the industries are struggling with, is losing clients to their competitors. Descriptive analytics, understanding what is going on, understanding the problem. The diagnostic analytics is understanding why do we have this type of problem. Predictive analytics is understanding what is the likelihood we are going to experience the same problem, such problem in the future. And finally, the prescriptive analytics is recommending a direction or guidance, the optimal guidance, the optimal solution, the optimal list of orders that we could use to avoid losing clients for our competitors. So these are the four type of analytics that you might end up doing as data scientist. But most likely you will be hard to do some prediction. Is trying to learn from the historical data, learn from what has happened in the past, and try to use the patterns that you learn to refer, to predict, to forecast the future. Okay, so data science, this is the beauty about data science. Once you understand the process, once you understand the big picture, you can apply it to any job regardless of the industry. You could end up working for media entertainment using the same methodologies, the same process. You could be working with the utilities companies, with telecommunication, with transportation, with the security, retail, finance, healthcare. Just name an industry. As far as there is a data, there is a need to apply analytics. So if a company produces data, they are gonna need to hire someone to analyze and pre-process and investigate and torture that data to provide the business with insight and information and patterns that would help them make a better decisions for the business. That is the beauty of data science. It's transparent. Once you understand the process, once you got some skills, you can apply for a job for any industry, regardless. So data science is a team sport. You are not going to work on yourself by yourself. Of course, you might do that, working on a project and volunteer projects. You're trying to create something fancy using deep learning, using video image recognition. You could use voice recognition. You could do that. You could do something like that. But in the real life, data science is a team sport. You are gonna end up working with the team, and I really don't care of how many members that you have in the team, but overall you are gonna need people with four expertise. You are gonna need now in the team, you are going to need someone who knows the business better, someone who has some business expertise or domain expertise, someone who can help you understand the problem you're trying to solve, understanding the business, understanding the competitors, understanding the business operations. So the more you understand the business, the better you will design a solution. And to design a solution, we need to have someone who understands the business joining our team. And of course, we need to have someone who knows the data, someone who knows where the data has been stored, how the data has been collected, how the data is being utilized, who is using the data, who generates the data, the type of the data that we have, the attributes, the values, etc. So we need to have someone with that type of expertise. I am not expecting you to be a data scientist and of course I'm not expecting you guys. There is a guy that we need to Fatima, please try to see. There is a guy here is really disturbing the chat. Please go ahead and kick him out if you can. Yeah, let me see if I can do that. So please bear with me. This is not professional, unfortunately, but we have to deal, many times we have to deal with bad guys, unfortunately. Well, Here we go. I think so. I think okay, sounds good. So I think I managed to kick him out, which is good. And my apologies. This is the first time going live on YouTube. I'm still learning this. Okay, folks. So as I said, you are going to be working on a team. You are going to need business experts. You are going to need data experts, and of course, we are going to need a developer, someone who can help us develop the solution into production. I don't expect a data scientist to know the business better. I don't expect the data scientist to know data. I don't expect the data scientist to deploy the model into production. So data scientist's sole job is to get the data, transform it into a product. And of course, with the help of the business expert, data expert, domain expert, and developer. So just be careful, data science is taking a lot of jobs from us. This is some of the old statistics. 5% of all jobs can be automated. So unfortunately, the industry now is moving towards data-driven decision making, means they need a data scientist, and number two, they are moving into automation. Many of the tasks that we are doing on a daily basis can be automated. If I were to design a solution that can automate ABC, I don't need to hire someone to do ABC. Now this is how we lose jobs. So we are starting losing jobs for data science. And it's better to prepare from now, learning data science, to avoid being a victim of automation. Otherwise, a few years from now, you are going to be a victim. And even though we are losing jobs to data science and machine learning, artificial intelligence in general, this artificial intelligence, data science, analytics, they are actually creating more jobs for us. Even though we have an automated solution in place, we still need someone to train that solution on many data sets, on many samples. We need someone to train them and prepare the data, pre-process data. We need someone to explain the finding to the decision makers. It's not, the management wouldn't be able to make a decision on black box decision. So we have to have someone who actually understands how machine learning ended up making this decision. So we need to understand the mechanism behind making decisions. So, and also once we have a solution in place, we still need to make sure that that system is doing what's supposed to do. We need a sustainer. The machine learning algorithms or models that we'll be building, they are built on using data. And once we deploy them, they are still going to be using the data to produce an output. But there is no guarantee that data is always going to be the same. So there is no guarantee that data are always going to be the same. So we want someone to sustain the performance of the model once live. Even though, as I said, we are losing jobs because of data science and artificial intelligence in general, this artificial intelligence is creating more jobs. So learn data science to avoid being a victim of automation, and learn data science to increase a chance of getting a job that you are dreaming of. So data science life cycle, this is how what the data scientist is doing on a daily basis. So we all data science projects start with a problem. So they start with the problem. Now, what is exactly the problem that the business is struggling with? What is the challenge? So we start with a challenge, a problem that challenges the business. So we spend time understanding the problem, with the help of the team, especially the business expert and domain experts. So once we understand the problem, of course we are going to need to spend time. We are going to need to spend time and sorry guys. So we are going to need to spend time understanding the problem. After we have a clear understanding of the problem, then we are going to acquire data, and the data, it could be a flat file, it could be a sample of images, it could be an audios, videos, it could be text files, it could be a database, it could be a structured, unstructured, it could be big data, it could be small data, etc. So we are going to acquire data based on the need of the business. And once we have a data, then we are going to start putting effort to help us understand this data. So we need to apply some exploratory data analysis, data visualization, descriptive analytics, and statistical analysis to help us understand, describe the data statistically, explore the data, and of course we need to verify the quality of the data. So the whatever quality, the quality of the output of a model depends on the quality of the data you are feeding into a model. If you have a garbage, of course the quality is going to be garbage. If you have a good data that you are feeding into the model, of course you are going to get a good output, a correct output. So once we explore our data, of course, depends on how bad or how good that data is, that requires some preparation. We still need to dive deep into our data to fix the outliers, fix missing values, fix the duplicates records, deal with categorical data, deal with the skewness, deal with the distribution, etc. So a few of the techniques that we could use to shape our data is we could use normalization, transformation, integration, validation, binarization, correlation analysis, etc. There are a lot of techniques and processes that you could apply to prepare your data if the quality is not good. And after we have ready to go data, then we start building some models. So we start applying classification models, regression models, clustering models, supervised and supervised, reinforcement, semi-supervised techniques. And at the end of the day, we are going to get only one model that meets our criterion, with probably the model with the highest accuracy. Even though we have one model, we still need to evaluate that model. We need to improve the quality of that model, improve its performance through many techniques, going through the data or a data level, at the analytic approach level, at the modeling level, at the parameters level, at the measurement level, at the business problem level. There are many levels that you could check to improve the quality or the performance of the model. So after we have one model, the winner model, which we try to optimize and improve, then finally we need to communicate the finding with the management and stakeholders. And if the model requires a deployment, we are going to deploy it into production, and it's going to start producing reports for the business to utilize, to use, to make a better decision. And the cycle start over for a different business problem, different challenge. So if you want to be a data scientist, there are a few things. Of course, you are not going to find this in a textbook. This is something that we designed based on my experience and based on the course I'm teaching. So if you want to become a superhero data scientist, you need to have few things. Number one, you need to have some type of expertise, domain expertise. If you are working in healthcare field, stay where you are. Don't switch to data science. Stay where you are and add analytics, add data science to it. If you are working in finance, in IT, in management, just name a discipline. Whatever discipline you are good at, just stay within your discipline. Stay with your domain of expertise and improve it by adding some analytics. Adding data science on top of it. That's going to make you a superhero candidate for position. And of course, you are going to need to know some tools. If you are not good in programming, there are a lot of applications that don't require programming. I'm going to name few like SAS Enterprise Miner, Watson Analytics, Rapid Miner, of course Tableau, Power BI, Azure ML. These are some of the big ML. These are some of the analytical applications don't require any programming whatsoever. But to be a superhero data scientist, of course, we need to stay away from applications because they are not free applications. They are licensed. They cost a lot of money. So you need to know some programming languages: Python, R, Julia, Scala for big data, Java for big data, C++ to design machine learning algorithms. But to be a data scientist, you really need to know one of them, and the most needed or the most common language used in data science is Python. Python is an open source, easy to learn, and we are going to have a crash course in Python in this program, and of course we are going to use Python all the way to the end of the program. Then you need to know some statistics, some probability, some math. You don't need to be an expert. Simply know enough to make you dangerous, to make sense of your data. So you need to know, you need to be able to measure, to apply measurement. Measures of positions, dispersion, shape, relationship of your data. You need to know how to calculate the mean, median, mode, variance, standard deviation, covariance, correlation, etc. These statistics, probability statistics techniques will help you to simply address the assumptions on your data. Number one. Number two, double check the sensitivity, or make sure that your data makes sense. So this is some of the techniques, Bayesian theorem, the distribution, the sampling, the central limit theorem, hypothesis testing, ANOVA, MANOVA, ACNOVA, etc. These are all statistics. You don't have an expert in them, but still they are going to help you address or check the assumptions of your data. And of course, you need to start talking the data science language. You need to be able to understand the methodologies, the big words, like what is data science, what is random forest, what is decision tree, entropy, data split, modeling, testing. So this is probably some new words for you. So probably you might hear these words for the first time, but that is data science. So you need to start memorizing, spending time understanding, explaining these methodologies. That is what's going to make a change, a lot of change, the time you start looking for a job. They might ask you at the interview, they might ask you, what is the difference between clustering and regression? You got to have an answer right away, otherwise they know that you are a fake data scientist. A fake data scientist is someone who claims to be a data scientist by simply reading some articles online or watching some YouTube videos. And finally, you need to actually show that you fixed some problems in the past. That you need to document, or in your resume, you need to show the decision makers or the hiring managers that you are capable of solving problems using data by simply showing some of the problems that you solved in the past. So that is exactly, that is the end of the presentation, and I believe that is the end of today's session. One thing that I would like to talk about before I open the floor for questions. So we have a 30-week program. So This is a 30-week program. It's one of probably highest. It's high. The quality is very high. One of the highest training program that we offer at BBDS. This program is sourced out of 3 masters that I completed in the past and over 10 years of experience in the field. So we've been teaching this class since 2016, and we have improved it in so many ways. And now we run this 14 times, and batch number 15 is going to start in January 2022. So this program, we meet 5 times a week and 3 hours per session. So roughly you will be trained between 15 to 20 hours per week. And once you complete the program, if you feel like you are ready, then we are going to help you with resume preparation, interview preparation, and job placement for free. If you feel like you are not ready, then we are going to train you another 8 months at no additional cost, free. And of course, there are some of the technologies we are using, and this is the roadmap. And I'm going to end this session right here. So, Fatima, do we have any questions? Yeah, I'm going to try to make you, Fatima. I'm trying to make you a moderator. Hopefully, I'll be able to do that. Here we go. Okay, folks. So if you didn't have a question, we are going to stop here, and we are going to meet you next week. And next week is going to be with Ed Bujak, Professor Ed Bujak. He's an American professor, and he will take us through a crash course on Python. So yeah, you need to install an account on your computer if you have not done it yet. So. And after next session, then we are going to start the real program NLP. Okay, folks, that's it for today. I'll look forward to speaking with you either through the chat or email. And that's it for today. You guys have a great evening, a great weekend. And bye, everybody. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.